I did my internship with United Families Utah, and so we did this during the Utah legislature session, which ran from mid-January to mid-March. So it was 8 weeks long exactly. So how I found this internship. Brother Rarick usually takes his family advocacy class on a field trip each semester. And on our field trip, we went to the Utah Capitol building and met with United Families International. And while we were there, they spoke about this internship opportunity and how it had went the previous session. I thought it was really interesting then, but I didn't know if it was something I wanted to do. So later in the year, when I was actually looking for an internship, I remembered this, and so I contacted Jenny Cooper, who was a previous intern. So I asked her about her experiences and what it was that I would be doing. She highly recommended it, and she gave me the information to contact the people. So I emailed Rosemary Murray, and I signed up. So it was pretty simple. It was that easy. So the main responsibilities of this internship is advocate, educate, and learn. And this is what they told us from the very beginning. So now we'll just go into each one of these in a little bit more depth. So advocate. Advocating is when we advocate, we support and defend the family. So there was a couple ways we did this. And this was, we would watch the bills during the legislative session. And these bills would affect the family in some way. So some of the bills we were for, and some of the bills we were against. So we just kept track of these bills throughout the whole session, where they were in the process, and sometimes we would testify. We'd give resources to the representatives, so that and the senators, so they could vote a certain way, or they could just be educated about what was going on and what the effects of this bill would have. So how we lobby the legislators. So writing blue notes and green notes. So blue notes are notes that go to the senators, and green notes are notes that go to the representatives. And so it's just a super small piece of paper. Most of the time you have to get your message down to just a few sentences so you can fit it onto this paper. And sometimes you can even ask them to come out and meet with you because you have additional information for them or questions for them. And so when they're in floor time, we send these notes in and then spend most of our time waiting outside for them to come out, and so we can talk to them. And sometimes they don't even come out. So that's one way, is definitely talking to them, even when we see them around. See them around the Capitol grounds, talking to them, building relationships. And so another way is we email committee members. So each bill in the process, it has to go to a committee meeting. And so it's assigned to a committee that normally it's related. It's related to it somehow. So these committee meetings are public, and so that's the super cool thing about them, is that anyone can go in and testify. And so normally I didn't ever testify in a committee meeting because normally we have one spokesperson. That was Laura. She would testify for the voice of United Families. But if there was a bill you felt passionate about, you could just go up and speak. In fact, one of our other interns, Samantha, she actually got to testify in a committee meeting, and that was super cool. Yeah, so we attend these just to hear the debates back and forth, what's going on with each bill. And before the committee meetings, you can email all the members of the committee just to let them know. It can be long or short. You can just be like, hey, we're opposed to this bill. We would really like you to consider these facts before you vote on it. Or we could be like, hey, we really like this bill, and we'd just like you to vote in favorably for it because it's going to have benefits for families. So that was the main part of it. The other one that we did was educate. Educate, I think, is where I grew the most, is just learning how to articulate your viewpoints on the family and the family issues so that other people understand them. One of the things that we did was we wrote blog entries about the happenings at the Capitol. So we had an intern blog, and so we tried to, every week we would post a blog entry about what was going on, what bills we were watching, and so that anyone that was interested, they could follow our blog. We also helped update the UFI Facebook page. Two of the other interns, they took this on, and so they kind of designed it, put some more pictures in, and just kept some of the articles updated. And we would go on and just comment on them and keep kind of a discussion going so that people could see what resources to use and know what was out there in support of the family. We also kept the petition email list updated. So sometimes this was a more boring part of it, but every time they got a new email list, we would enter the names and the emails into our email list so they could continue to get updates on what was going on, and so they could be educated on the issues. And then the biggest thing about education is just talking to people. The representatives and senators, they don't always have the most, they can't be educated on every single topic. And so I guess let's go back to advocating, but lots of times they're not educated on the topics, and so it's our job to educate them and just give them the information that's going to help them make an educated decision, or at least what we hope, an educated decision. And so just besides them, there were so many opportunities at the Capitol. You're standing around, sometimes waiting for them to come out, and so you get to talk to other lobbyists and stuff. And so we really had the opportunity just to talk to people. And even outside our internship, I realized that by having this experience, I was more open, and maybe people were more open just to talk about what was going on. And they'd be like, hey, what are you doing in your internship? And instead of saying, oh, it's good, I'm at the Capitol, I would take that opportunity to tell them some of the issues and the bills that we were watching. So that was super good. So learn. So this whole thing was a huge learning experience. I didn't know very much about the government process, the legislative process, and so how a bill becomes a law. So I really learned that because you get to see your bill, your individual bill, and walk through each step of the way with it. And so, yeah, you're learning so much. And also learning how to use research and our beliefs to articulate the family issues. I realize that it's okay to say that the underlying reason why I'm doing this is because I have a belief in the family, and my religion comes into play in that. And you can't always use religion to back it. You need to know the facts, and you need to know the research, but I learned that it's also okay to say that my religion and my beliefs are my main reason and why I feel this way. But here's some information to back it up. So just learning the balance between that and using where to go for resources. That was always fun. Another thing to learn from was we had a FACT meeting, which was a coalition. It was Family Action Council team. And so once a week, all the family organizations that were there lobbying would get together and just kind of go over the bills they were watching, educate each other on issues, and we had the opportunity to attend those. So I learned lots of things from these. Sometimes I learned that they weren't always as productive as they could have been or should have been. But I also learned so much because we had people from a variety of different backgrounds, and to see how each person could contribute in their own way was very cool. So that was our main purpose in being here. So I'm just going to tell a story of one thing that I thought really stood out to me that was just really special to me. So I watched the child sexual abuse education bill. And so what this bill would do is originally it was going to implement mandatory sex abuse prevention education into elementary schools, so ages kindergarten to 6th grade. And we were concerned about this because it overrides parents' rights, because it was mandatory, parents didn't get a say, and we were afraid of the content. It opened up for nonprofit organizations, and so we were concerned about those to come in and teach the children. And so this was the bill that I specifically picked. And so as we watched it throughout the session and as we advocated for it, we were able to take out the fact that it was mandatory, and we were able to take out the nonprofit organizations, and it was also, it had another amendment so that if they addressed certain topics, it had to be an opt-in program rather than an opt-out. So this was just really cool. And it wasn't just us alone, it was us working with other people and just providing resources that really changed this bill. And so that was amazing for me. And so the benefits of this. I had a real life experience advocating for the family, which I think is amazing. I just learned how you can advocate, like what steps in the process you can step up and say something. Plus I learned that it's not that hard, and we have a voice, and if we don't use that voice, we're just a silent majority. So we really do need to step up. And then developing a stronger testimony to family. My love for family grew so much, like for my own family someday in the future, and for just families in general. everything does relate back to the gospel, and the more you learn, just the stronger your testimony grows, and the more experience you have advocating for the family, the more your testimony grows. And I would say it changed my life. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing, but I know this is always going to be a part of it. And just to have that opportunity, and definitely to see that the Lord's hand is behind everything that's happening. He knows the issues that we're facing, and He knows how devastating the battle is sometimes, and He's definitely preparing people to step up and help. And just to take the opportunity to be one of those people was amazing. So would I recommend this internship to others? I would have to answer, most definitely, yes. It was amazing, and I think if everyone goes into it with the right attitude, they could have just as good of an experience as I did. So who to contact, because you're going to want to do this amazing internship. Laura Bunker is the president of United Families International, and she's actually the main one. She's been at the Capitol quite a few years now, and so she's the main one to contact. She's phenomenal. She knows her resources. She's so sweet and has a sweet spirit. And then Rosemary Murray is the president of United Families Utah, and she is also at the Capitol. And both amazing, amazing, phenomenal ladies. So that is who to contact. Either one can get you in touch and get you the resources and get you more information. Other than that, if you have any questions, I would love to talk about my internship because it's amazing. So contact me, and yeah, I could help you out and give you more information. But I would definitely say that this was a life-changing, amazing experience, which I would recommend for everyone else. Thank you.